What up, guys? We back here. Another session of GOAT Talk. Please subscribe and leave your review. I got my co-host with me, Johnathan Joseph. Today we have a very, very special guest, man. I don't even know where to start with this guy, man. Like, a guy I looked up to as a kid. University of Miami Hurricane, St. Thomas Aquinas, Super Bowl winner, Hall of Famer. He gave me my gold jacket in Canton, Ohio. And I remember your words you gave me as I went into the Hall of Fame. You told me this wouldn't be the last gold jacket I'd give you. And Michael Irvin, man, y'all welcome Michael Irvin to the show.
Oh, you gonna make me cry with that, Drake? Man, I'm serious, man. Hey, man, listen, man. I'm serious, man. First of all, really, I can't tell you how much I thank you for giving me that honor to put that jacket on you that night and tell you, welcome home, because that's really what it is. You know, that's what we say, welcome home, welcome to the Hall. Dude, I'm gonna tell you, let me get right.
Yeah, you get choked up.
Right, because, you know, Dre got me all emotional talking like that here, you know, like that. You know, when you get old, all that stuff start mattering. You know, right. You're not gonna have anybody in the stadium screaming your name and anything like that anymore. So you start, boy, that matters. That matters. I need to hear that affirmation right there. You know, or every year I make sure I go back to that Hall of Fame to have those 3 days of appreciation to help me get through the rest of the year when nobody's gonna really show you any appreciation, you know. Right. So the Hall kind of gives me that every year, man. But Dre, even hearing you talk about it, and then thinking about the first time I saw you, thinking about when I got back to Miami, and they were like, "Man, we got this kid Andre Johnson. You got." I remember when I first saw you walk the corner, turn that corner. God damn! That's a big one. God, where y'all get that one? Dude, and then Dre went out, man. Dude, Dre was so fast. He was so fast, man. You know, in the Bible, they got this place they call it a threshing floor. That's where you take your biggest problems that you got with God, or the biggest problems you got in life to God. And I remember getting right on my threshing floor saying, like, God, why you couldn't give me that kind of speed? Why you couldn't give me that kind of speed, man? That size and speed, that was different, man, when Dre hit you.
No, Mike, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, you know, being a kid from Miami and, you know, just watching the Hurricanes as a kid, like, you guys left, and I think that's why it's so hard for me now to watch the games. I think we're getting back to that after watching, you know, this week. But man, the impact you guys left just on, I don't even want to say just the city of Miami. Like, that was different. You know, it was different, and you know, I didn't want to go nowhere else. Like, as a kid, I'm like, I want to be a part of that, and you guys left an impact, man, that I don't think can ever be matched in college football. They can say what they want to say or do what they want to do. They can do all this NIL stuff or whatever, but like you, Jerome Brown, God bless his soul. You know, all those guys, Alonzo Highsmith, who I just talked to last night, like, y'all, I remember the coin toss against Oklahoma.
Right.
That had to be one of the worst things that could have ever been put on TV at that time. But at the end of the day, it was just a different swagger we had about ourselves. But I'm gonna start off, man. Like,
Dre, I remember that too, Dre. I remember the guys were talking about that coin toss all week long before. And when all them guys were like, "Man, listen, we gonna tell them jokers, forget the coin toss. We can give you the ball right here on the 50. You ain't going nowhere. gotta do the coin talk. You get the ball right here. Let's play ball. So you said them dudes must be sitting there like, who these dudes right here? You know what I mean? It was serious. But Drake, that time, Johnson, that time, man, you guys think about it, how it all came together. And where we are, where we were in this country, where we are as a people, when all of that went down, you're talking about in the 80s, Howard Schnellenberger had already gone to the University of Miami, very affluent area, and said, give me the ability to turn around the program. He said, I can do it if you let me do what I need to do. They said, well, what do you need to do? He said, we need to go into the ghettos of all of here in Florida and get those players and bring them in here. Well, Miami, Corey Gables ain't a place, the many brothers going to be running around. You know what I mean? We just wait till we going. And Corey Gables, Florida, you heard growing up, Dre, just like I heard growing up. Yeah. Don't go down there to Corey Gables.
Yeah, don't go down.
Don't go messing with them real rich white folks. Don't go messing with them. You're not go messing around. They'll put you in jail just for walking on the street out there. That's what you heard coming up.
But that's how we were raised, Mike. Like,
right.
It was always don't go in certain areas.
Don't do it.
I can remember my grandparents telling me, boy, don't go over there. They gonna take you to jail.
And honestly, as crazy as that sounds, that's exactly what you were told. They're gonna take me to jail for what? For going over there. Hey, we ain't say nothing wrong. They're gonna take you to jail. I tell you, I'm not lying. That's what they were telling us. So we would never go in there. So when Howard Schnellenberger came in those areas and got us and brought. That was like coming into hell to take us to heaven. Are you joking? You came into hell and taking us to heaven? All we got to do is whoop Joker's ass? Oh, come on, man. And we ain't going to jail? Okay, let's go do that. Let's go. You know what I mean? So all of that mixed into the times that it was, and then us coming together in Miami and then beating all those big-time programs. All the Oklahomas, the Nebraskas, those teams that had been there for so long. Man, I think when you look back at it, it was us speaking for us, if you know what I mean, about give us an opportunity to do things, and we can show you we can do it. And we did it our way. When I said our way, I mean, the University of Miami, I mean, me individually, but I also mean, us. We were doing it our way, because we were just happy to be there and happy to have that opportunity. We really looked at it like Howard Schnellenberger came into hell and took us to heaven, because, boy, it was so enough beautiful in Corey Gables, Florida. I was like, this is what a lot of people look like.
A lot of people don't really realize that, and it's crazy that you bring this up. I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. South Florida kids were not going to the University of Miami. They were going to FAMU. FAMU ends up losing. UM ends up losing to FAMU. That's what started the South Florida kids, because Schnellenberger was like, I got to get the kids from here, right here in the hometown, because they all going to FAMU. I need to get them here to come play for me. And I was telling this story the other day of how UM really got where it was because Schnellenberger started recruiting the kids that were local. And just talk about that, man, like how that changed and flipped the University of Miami's relevance in the college football.
So you're talking about, man, and using that all the way around, man, that opportunity. Like you said, everybody, we had all the talent in the world. When Howard said, and he recognized that and said, this is all we need. Let's just do this here. Let's do it here. That thing got so big, man. I really wanted to, I remember I wanted to go since a kid, I was like, man, I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. So I thought going somewhere away from Florida and getting out of Florida would be going big time. I was like Dre was talking about, it was the FAMU rap. You knew all about the rappers. Boy, the rappers. Your family rappers were bad, boy, man. And that was the goal to play at home, was to go to FAM, until Howard gave you that opportunity to get to Miami. And once we got that opportunity, that was incredible to me. I remember Jimmy Johnson after Howard left. Jimmy used to, he used it on us. He said, man, you guys, you came out of here, and I know your family was happy. Everybody was happy. And you looked at these scholarships. You thought they said 4-year scholarships. He said, but you didn't read those fine print. The fine print says each scholarship is 1 year renewable. Right. And if you don't do the requirements, you can end up not being renewed. And Jimmy was basically telling, boy, if we don't get better practice out here, I'm sending all you brothers back to the Dog. I'm talking about the way those practices used to go after he said that. Because nobody was going back. We weren't going back, man. And we started cranking those practices up, man. But I'm going to tell you, there was nothing greater than knowing we all came from those kinds of places in that situation and coming together, man, and becoming one. Dude, we took it out on everybody we could take it out on that football field. Yes, so we were putting the pain of all those times not having a lunch and not having this, not having that. Yeah, y'all gonna feel that. Y'all gonna feel all of that. So we had some great games, man, and some great days. And they were talking about this the other day, the Orange Bowl. Do you know how many games we won in that Orange Bowl? You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Nobody will ever do that again.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you something real quick. I tell people all the time, when you walk in that Orange Bowl, from the time you hit the door, it smells different.
Yeah.
You could be outside of it and it smelled a certain way, but when you walked inside of it, it had a different smell to it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, I absolutely agree with you too, man. And the Orange Bowl wasn't in the best area of Miami. You know what I'm saying? So it was apropos that we had came from where we came from and ended up on the big stage in that area. Because when other people come to the Orange Bowl, they were like looking around like they're uncomfortable. But all of us playing on Miami, we grew up in this kind of stuff. What are you talking about? How y'all? This is home. Let's go. Because the Orange Bowl had some, but it was always the right vibe, man, and the right atmosphere. Because those were people like us, and they were like, and they understood, man. That Orange Bowl was rocking. That was literally us saying, yeah, we are here. And anybody came in there, we would be. They were calling Oklahoma before those games. We used to call them at their hotel.
Yeah.
Hey, John, we about to whoop y'all. We were some crazy ones, man. But Boz worked with the coolest one, dog. We called Boz. Boz answered the phone. He gonna tell you, yeah, man. Boz, what? Yeah, we about to whoop your ass. You know what I mean? Boz was like, okay, guys, yeah, we'll see you at the game. No problem. Good night. He after it. I said, Boz probably could have played with us. He was one of us anyway. He's a good dude.
Looking back on it, obviously we get to watch the documentaries now. We get to see all, everything, the foundation that y'all built and laid down there in Miami. But was it a point in time where you knew where y'all was there that we could be special, we can get to where we are? Obviously you becoming who you are, the guy leading the team, leading the school in every category for a receiver. Obviously some of them records been broken now. But just thinking back, looking like, man, we had some dudes on that team, but we didn't know at that point in time when we came in as like freshmen, sophomores, that we was going to be who we were today.
Well, man, listen, when I got there, man, they had Eddie Brown, Stanley Shakespeare. They started wide receivers. And I remember coming in, sitting on the goal post, man. I was visiting from St. Thomas and looking around like, wow, I can't believe. First of all, I can't believe I'm in Coral Gables. you know, and I'm at the University of Miami, you know, it was beautiful. All the grass was green, everything was laid out, everything manicured. I was like, this is beautiful. And one of the guys said, man, freshman, what's up? What you looking at? And I remember looking at one of the receivers said, Joker, I'm looking at the spot I'm going to take next year when I get here. right. And they will always mess with me, you know. Oh, that rookie said he's coming to take somebody's job, you know. I did take somebody's job. I was just saying, you know. But it's that kind of stuff. It was always competitiveness, competition, man. You knew what kind of work you had to put in. And that's what grew. I think they're getting back to that now. You know what I'm saying, Dre J? I think they're getting back to it now. When I was with Coach Cristobal, we were talking, and I was on it because I go down there, you know, for legend camps and everything. I went to dinner with Cam Ward. I went to dinner with Bain, both bad boys. Them two bad boys right there, Doc. And well, I was over to talk to Coach. Coach told me, he said, man, do you hear what happened? I said, what happened, Coach? He said, he was telling me about one of the receivers. He said, man, yeah, we had a receiver down in Fort Lauderdale. He was training and saying he was training with Lamar Jackson. And I said, Coach, and he said, Cam Ward called him and said, hey, man, what's up? We're going on the field here in Miami to get some work in. And the dude was saying, yeah, I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm working out with Lamar Jackson. He said, Cam told him, dude, you're not going to be catching any passes in Baltimore from Lamar Jackson this year. And if you don't get your butt back down here on this field, you ain't going to be catching no passes from me here in Miami either. You know what I'm saying? They said that Joker hit 95, doing 95 to get back down to Miami and get on that football field. And dude, that's how you get back to what we were doing, because that's the approach we had. If you make practice hard, you make it competitive, games will be fun and games will be easy. And I think they're getting back to that in Miami.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So you coming from y'all know, Mike, I know people don't know, but I know your competitive spirit, man. Like, I've seen you. We was just at the spring game, you know, before this season, and we all spoke, but you gave a hell of a speech, man. Like, your competitive spirit. Do you think that comes from you coming from a big family?
No doubt, no doubt. And a lot of that is stuff that we get when we're young, growing up. You know, Dre, when you're the 15th to 17 kid, that means my sister, my brothers, they all beat me up. And you're the youngest. You're like, I'm gonna grow up one day, and you guys aren't gonna be able to do this, you know. So you're getting that early competitive thing just because you're one of the youngest and you're trying to fit in. So absolutely. Now, to continue to perpetuate that in everything you do in life, is what we're trying to do and the message we're trying to send. That's what you want to do. If I can get all of my kids, or all of my family members, everybody I know, to take and approach life that way, just put in the hard work, outwork everybody, and the gods of it all will make sure it all works out right. If you do that, then you can win. Because that's what I've seen in life. If you just outwork everybody, you'll win all the time.
Yeah, that's one thing that's always so. I was able to be around Tony Wiley. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, Tony Wiley. Yeah.
Yes. So he used to. So when I came here, when I first got here, he was here in Houston. Just your work ethic, man. So I tell people all the time, like, you know, to know you, you know, as a friend, and to be a guy you look up to, like, I think that's something from hearing those stories and knowing you, that's something that was kind of instilled in me. So I really want to say, man, like I appreciate you, man, because hearing those stories and things of that nature, man, it really made me, you know, bust my ass, you know, to want to be the best. And I've always looked up to you for that. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Dre, you know, Dre, it's so funny too. You talking about it. You know, I was thinking about. I had a coach, Jerry Sullivan, who I wanted to follow to Indiana, and then he went to LSU. I wanted to go to LSU before I went to Miami. You know, he's coach. He coached also Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and he called me about them, and when they were in high school, he said, "Man, I got these two kids, man." He said, "Man, they can play." He told me. He said to me, he was telling me, he said, "Man, this kid Jamar Chase is so physically, he's so fast, he has everything." But then he told me Justin Jefferson, the only other guy I've ever trained that is as competitive as you, Michael. So I've been watching for these guys forever, you know. But Coach Sullivan told me, he said, Justin Jefferson really showed Jamar Chase how to work. Because, you know, Jamar Chase got all the physical skill set, but Justin Jefferson had to, you know, he worked hard. And I thought I only bring it up because I think about it because to me, Dre, you got all the physical gifts in the world. You're so blessed. Now you just said it. You put that with hard work. That answers the question right there. Because I'm gonna tell you, when we sat in that Niski luncheon, I sat in that Niski luncheon and I was looking around. I was like, okay, you know. Troy Aikman's in here. I'm in here. Troy Aikman's in here. There was Jerry Rice. Okay. Steve Young and Joe Montana in here. You know. Right. I looked Andre Reed over there. Okay. Jim Kelly never in here. And then I looked at Dre. I said, we all got our quarterback, and Dre ain't got that. Dre's in here without a quarterback. And ain't now one of his quarterbacks coming, ever. You understand what I'm saying? I said, oh, my God. That's how bad that dude is. Dude, I don't think people think about that, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. I'm like, how that Joker get in here without his quarterback? I'm like, I got his quarterback. You know, Dre, hey, man, that's what happened when you put that kind of physical blessing, skill set, with being the hardest worker. You break all kinds of trends, and that's what that is. When I see you in that room, that's a trend breaker.
All right, let's fast forward. You know, obviously, first round pick. Y'all go do big things in college, win the national championship on your way out. Talk about just coming, you know, into the NFL, being a first round pick, having a spotlight on your back, and having to live up to what you did in college, and then translating that into what you became, because you've been a winner everywhere you've been.
Right. Well, especially coming out of Miami going into Dallas. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa, man, dude, listen, I'm going to tell you something on the real, man. Our first year, I had lost 2-3 games in Miami, total. In my 3 years playing, you know, maybe.
I went through that too, Mike. I understand what you're talking about.
I got Dallas. I was like, whoa, this was foreign. Like, I was like, what the? You should. What hit me was, okay, when I first got the first game, man, we go in the first game, we're playing Pittsburgh, man, boom, I run a curl route, catch a touch, go run a touchdown. I said, this ain't. I'm about to run this thing. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to kill this league. And then they scored, and then they scored again and again. We ain't scored no more. And we lost that game. And we lost the next game. Dude, I was literally, oh my God, I was literally boo-hoo crying after every game in the locker room. I'm talking about tear crying, real tears coming out my eyes, crying like I don't know what. Like I don't understand this, you know. The dude, some of the dudes who come up to me, man, which blew my mind, said to me, come on, Mike. Come on, man. Come on. Get right. Come on. It's the NFL. We don't do that, man. We pick up the check on Tuesday. Pick up the check on Tuesday. I was like, what? Dude, I promise you, I went through that whole year. We were 3-13 that year. I was crying every time we lost games. The jokers would come to me and say, man, you know what? It's the NFL, man, to make sure you pick up that check on Tuesday. Dude, when Jimmy came the next year, and I knew we was getting Coach Johnson. That's it. You know, when I met with Coach, the first thing I did, nigga, like Santa Claus, I hand him my list. I said, all of them gotta go. Everybody that touched me.
So, Mike, you got everybody cut.
Everybody that touched me, talking about we pick up a check on Tuesday, you gotta go. Because you can be my friend, but you're not gonna help me win. So you gotta go. You gotta go. Dude, what Jimmy used to always say to us, we can all get what we want if we can put our focus on one thing. Right. If you came for money, that's fine. If you came for girls, you came for fame, whatever it is, that's fine. But we got to put our focus on one thing. Everybody's focus has to be on winning. If the focus is on winning, everybody gets all that stuff they want. But if the focus is on anything else, none of us get what we want. So everybody who had their focus on money, your ass gotta go. You see what I'm saying? We got to put the focus on winning and we'll get the money. You can't put the focus on money and expect to win it. And that's what it was. So yeah, I hate to say it because I know how much of that is a code breaker in our culture that you a snitch, but I was a snitch. I'm sorry, I snitched. That's what I can tell you right there. I definitely snitched.
So Mike, you got their ass out of there, huh?
I got him out of there, dog. I got him out, and I had to, dog. I'm serious, man. Seriously. I ended up winning 3 Super Bowls. I guarantee you, if I had not passed, you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it because it didn't matter. Dre, you know, you football, man, is too hard. It's not just about skill. This is what I tell people. It's not just about skill. Most of the world hit the top of their game punching a computer. Because the more they get, the better skill they get at it, the higher they can go. They can make them keys do what they wanted to do. Right. But in our game, as we sharpen our skill, since we're not going up against a computer, we're going against a grown man that wants to feed his family, that wants to have a good life. As we sharpen our skill, we must also together deepen our collective will, because it's going to come a time that we got to look at each other and say, we will not lose this game. You see what I mean? And if you can't have that collective will, our will got to be collective will, and it has to be towards winning. It can't be towards you worried about $1 here or this, that. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. So, you got to weed those people out, man. You got to make sure that they don't stop you from getting to where you want to go.
You talk about that, you saying all that. I just want to see, how was y'all able to bottle up all those egos? Because when I look back over time, I see all the coaches that y'all had on the staff that became head coaches. People don't even know about that. All the Hall of Famers y'all had on that team, everybody having success, head coach coming in, changing things up. Just how was y'all able to control that and bottle that up? Because I played for Mike Zimmer, and I remember watching back and looking at the heated exchange that y'all had, and that told me a lot about you, because I know how he's wired up.
Zip, man, and speaking on that, Jay, that's what I love that Dallas got back now. You know about the Cowboys. Zip, man, dude, we used to, at Miami, in Dallas, Zip, we used to be about to fight. The coaches, the receiver, DB coach about to fight because we're in one-on-ones. We're competing on one-on-ones. I mean, keeping score, and we cursing each other out. I mean, it's serious. And Zim and Axe be over there, they cussing and going at it. I was like, Zim, I'll whoop your ass. These the coaches, I'll whoop your ass. No, oh my God, it was the funnest, the most fun stuff in the world, man. It was the fun stuff. And you always kept it. He always kept it. Competitiveness. That was the one thing that Jimmy always talked about. All of our focus on winning, and we have to compete. That's the part that surprises me now. Look at how week 1 goes in the NFL. It is so varied because no one really competes prior to week 1. Right. Week 1 is really the first level of competition that we see anybody really take on. So it gets varied. You can get a team like a New England Patriots that can sneak up on a Cincinnati Bengals because, Cincinnati, you spent all this offseason talking about contracts and money. New England talking about trying to win, and they slipped up and won.
You got a chance to experience on the college level and the pro level. So tell me, like, what that was like, man, because I tell people hands down, favorite coach all the time, Jimmy Johnson. There's no question, no nothing.
Yeah, and I did know that. I'm with you on that because, man, there's so many things that Jimmy and I have experienced together. You know what I mean? I came in as a young guy. I just lost my father my senior year in high school. My coach passed me off to Jimmy and said to Coach, he said, hey, this kid's been through a lot of stuff, and he just lost his dad. And I want to make sure, you take care of him. Because remember, Howard Snellenberger recruited me.
Right.
Howard recruited me. Howard landed the helicopter all over the football field, came to the basketball game. I wanted to follow Jerry Sullivan to Indiana, and then he went to LSU. I was thinking about going there. Man, once Howard landed that thing on that football field, he came to the basketball game, man. The whole neighborhood was tripping, man. So I was scared to go anywhere else, man. The whole neighborhood was talking about Miami. We're going to Miami, right? I was like, right. So, yeah, I said, we're going to Miami. Yeah, we're going to Miami, But when I got there with Jimmy, dude, I got in a fight my first day there. I got in a fight on the training table over a steak, over some food. We have that. I really got, this dude kept bothering me. Man, freshmen eat last. Freshmen eat last. I ain't never seen nothing like this. This was spread, remember?
Right.
We coming from the ghettos of Florida here. This was a spread laid out, man. And they made us wait. Dude did something. I said, give me that steak. Look, you can't get a steak. You wait, freshman. We waited another 5-10 minutes. Then he finally ordered my damn steak. The steak I pointed at. Oh, dude. While he was pointing at it, I must have lost it. I grabbed the tray, cracked it over his head, and went to kick him. They took me to the office, right? And they took me off. Jimmy said, son, I know you've been through things, and I'm going to promise you I won't leave you. But we can't be fighting as a team. We can't be fighting. I'll never forget him saying that. And then maybe 2-3 weeks later, I'm in another fight, right? I thought he was going to keep me. I said, he's going to send me back home, man. God, he's about to say I done messed up now. And when I came in, he laughed at me, actually, and he looked at me. He said, son, I told you I want to stay with you, but you're making it difficult. He said, you're making it difficult. He asked me this, that tripped me out. He said, son, have you ever thought about boxing? I said, Coach, I'm a football player. What do you mean? He said, all right then, let's stop fighting and play football, right? But he had opportunities to send me home, and he should have. And he did not. And when he got his Hall of Fame ring and came back to Dallas, I was just bawling, and I couldn't get off those moments. Like, watching it, we won Super Bowl, we won national championships, we won Super Bowls and all that. And he was coming back to Dallas, and he hadn't been to Dallas since the breakup between him and Jerry Jones to get his Hall of Fame ring in the stadium. Hadn't really been in the stadium. Dude, I was just crying, man. And I kept thinking about if those moments, any one of those moments where I had screwed up, if he had punished me like he should have, which sent me out of there, none of this would have happened. And certainly I wouldn't have been a part of it, watching it happen. But yeah, that Jimmy's my, I tell people we all have them, what I call the miracles on our journey. It's somebody that God put in your life, he put in your life at the right time. And there's no way you would be where you are had he not placed that dude in your life. Jimmy is that dude for me. There's no doubt. He's that dude.
All right. You know, we go through so much stuff. We play. We got, you know, I remember come and go at times, but I just remember I was watching you one time, and they was talking about getting your number retired with the Cowboys and all that. You was like, oh, I'm fine with somebody wearing that 88.
Right.
Because, you know, anytime they drop that ball, the first thing they say, oh, Mike would have caught that.
Right. I don't want my number. I was telling people, I don't want my number retired. What y'all doing? Dude. And it's nice when they do it. It's nice. But I'm just saying, understand the process. When they retire that number, it goes in the wrap. And the only time anybody gonna mention it, is when you leave time and go to eternity. When God takes you to your resting place. And they'll put a camera on and say, they'll be watching the game, they'll take the camera off the game and say, oh, we lost Michael Irvin today. Back to the game. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's all you get. And you go.
Hey, Mike, what did you use 10 seconds? What did you use 10 seconds?
They give you 3 seconds, a moment of silence. It ain't even 5 seconds. It's just a moment of silence. Remember, they can't give you too long because that's commercial money time. Back to the game. They got to get back to that game, right? Now, if you believe it on somebody's back and he plays well or he doesn't play well, if he makes a grab, they say, boy, because it reminds them of good days. They say, boy, that looks like Mike Irvin. You know, and if he drops the ball, they say, boy, Mike Irvin wouldn't have dropped that. Either way, I get flowers every Sunday. Every Sunday I get flowers this way. I don't know why I'm the only person thinking like that. But everybody else, I just don't understand. I like my flowers every Sunday.
I'm not gonna lie. To hear you say that, it makes a lot of sense. Like that, yeah, it does. Like, because so nobody has wore 80 since I've stopped playing here with the Texans.
Right.
But you got to be special to have that number 88 on. Like, it's no way you can wear that number. Like, anybody just can't wear that number.
Right. No. You got to go through the process. I got to talk to you now. So we'll have No. I talked to CD Lamb. I talked to these dudes first.
Yeah.
You know, we got to talk. You got to make sure.
You got to have that conversation.
I got a little tricks to find out if you're about the job or if you're about what you about. You know,
right.
Say if
it's check on Tuesday.
He can't just be getting that check on Tuesday, right?
Oh no, you can't be that dude. You got to be, dude. I swear to you, hey, boy, hey, Dre. No joke, Dre. You hit the nail on the head. I swear to you, you hit the nail on the head. Let me tell you how I test them jokes. I was sitting in a room, me, whoever it is, take me and Dez Bryant and Jerry Jones. And we were just talking. And I'm going to get up in his face. Can you handle wearing this number? What you got? Can you handle wearing this number? I want to see him get up with some, I can do this. I got it. Every guy that I do that to, if he looks at me and then looks at Jerry and then looks back at me, I don't want you. That means you looked at the money. I want you looking at the miss. Only the miss. If you take your eyes off me to look at Jerry, you looked at the money. You're not about the mission. I want you about only the mission. And that's topping what I did in '88. When Drew Pearson gave it to me, I said, Drew, I'm gonna honor you with this by making sure I do what you did. He said, no, don't do that. He said, do better. You gotta do better. You gotta take it. And basically told me I gotta stand on his ceiling and make it my floor. Once they focus only on me, that means they're thinking about the mission. When they start looking at me, looking at Jerry, looking at me, looking at Jerry, you thinking too much about the money. You can't wear 88. You're not ready for 88. But if you like CD Lamb and Dez Bryant, the money will find you. It just found CD Lamb.
Yeah, it just found CD.
In a big way. You see what I mean? He's about that work.
You know what, Mike? It's funny you say that, man. damn, like I could sit here and talk to you forever, like about just this stuff, man. Like I remember you speaking before the spring game. I can't remember the field it was at. It was up in Fort Lauderdale. What field is that?
It's
a soccer stadium now, right?
It's a soccer stadium now.
Yes.
So Lockhart Stadium was
Lockhart. That's what it was.
Lockhart
So I remember you giving a speech before the spring game, and it's crazy because you just said something in what you just said now with guys wearing 88. You said that the guys that were before me gave me something to stand on, and I had to give it back to them because they gave it to me a certain way.
Right. That can't give you a championship, dog, and you give back nothing. That means what did you add to this journey? What did you add to this legacy? That means you came and took, dude. You ain't gave, took. No, that wasn't up.
So that's what I'm saying. Like for me, that was always my approach. So me coming to the University of Miami, and so my freshman year was the year where we first got all the scholarships back off the probation era or whatever. It was no way I was not going to leave that school and not win a national championship. Because of what you guys, I remember you coming in the locker room, you know, Michael Barrow coming out there working out with us, you know, all the guys coming back and just seeing you guys on the sideline. Like, that is something just totally different, and I don't think people really understand that. And I think for me, as a player, like, that was something that was just instilled in me in a different way. Like, my approach to the game, just everything, the way I carried myself. You guys left a legacy that I felt like I couldn't let it down. Talk about you coming to the Cowboys, your first few years wasn't good. What fueled you because I think a lot of them Super Bowls y'all won, that was a crazy run. So tell me what fueled you guys. Like what was it about that team and just like what the practices was like? Because to me, it gives me, because Jimmy was there, it gives me that Miami feeling. So talk a little bit about that.
And that's what it was to build too. Now we took the blueprint from Miami and brought it to Dallas. And once we started building, the one thing we would always say, Dre, John, Jay, and we would always say, man, listen, anybody that comes to this is how they have to do it. This is how they have to. Dude, once we start going, me, Emmett, Troy, we made a pact. Anybody that comes on this team, dude, you got to practice like this. That's how we, because we work too hard. We brought this out of a 3-15 and a 3-13 and a 1-15 season. My first 2 years, we won 4 damn games. 4 games. You know how many team meetings we would have? Players only team meeting, talking about this is it. That's it. We're gonna change this thing, and then go right back out there and get our heads.
They come to Jesus meeting.
Right. They'll come to Jesus. Everybody done stood up and said what they really felt and everything, and then you still go back out there and get your ass whooped. You know? It was like, wow, what the hell is going on around here? You know, but once you got it going, you remembered all of that. You know, so you said, we're not going back to that. It's what we're going to do. And so anybody that came on, man, you had to practice a certain way. I remember Troy getting on a guy at practice. You know what he got on him for? The guy got down, ran a route. He slipped down or fell down and stayed down. What? And, Troy looked and he stayed down. Man, when that play was over, Troy went, oh, what the hell was that? I don't care if you slip down. Well, we don't stay down around you. Get back up. You get back in that damn place. You know what I mean? Things like that makes the difference. It ain't okay to slip down and stay down. Get your butt up and get back in the fight. You never know, and you got to play until the end. Little things like that, you didn't allow in. When we come out here, we're putting in some work. We're going to practice. We're going to go through this 2-minute drill. It's going to be harder than the game 2-minute drill. Let's get it going. You got to be a part of it. You got to work into that. And if you're not, you're out of here. We're going to get you out of here. If you can't help us win, go somewhere else and just be our friend, but you can't be a teammate. Just go over there. But that's just what you got to do. It's not being mean. It's just being directed. We're not being mean. We're just being directed. We got something we want to accomplish, and this is what it's going to take. You can be a part of this, and if you're not going to be a part of this, then we got to make some changes.
Like Dre said, I can sit here and talk to you all day because it's always been authentic. I remember us having a conversation. We was in London that time. We played over there. We sit out and practice and chopped it up, And you shooting it just straight as it was, Talking about you pointing out guys, hey, this guy, if he don't keep doing this, he ain't going So I can appreciate that, like for me just being a player in the league, my team was the 49ers growing up. And I remember when y'all made the trade, y'all took Deion and brought him over there and won it the next year. I'm like, what's going on, man? These dudes just, they doing something right. So to see how they go with your career, and then to fast forward, you're like a grandpa to everybody in this league. The guys, whenever they see you, they want to come talk to you, hear the stories. But talk about the time you was able to put that gold jacket on Dre at the dinner. What type of moment was that for you?
Man, and you bring up things, you talk about Deion, man. I brought Deion over to Dallas. I mean, I was the one talking to Deion on the phone, saying, come on, man, set up the big party, man, when he came. Because I heard Ocho talking about going out in Houston with him. I said, yeah, I was out for Houston. I heard. Oh,
hey, you hear that? You hear that?
Ocho said, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, boy. But you walk in this place with Dre, that thing real. And that's another thing, see, Dre. I think about that too, because we both Miami boys, Miami receivers, and we done took over. I got Dallas, you got Houston, and them the best parts of Texas. I don't care what nobody say. What? Hey, we're two Miami boys. Hey, and Dre, you like me, Dre. Ain't never leaving Dallas. Ain't
never leaving you.
I heard you say that the other day. I heard you say, hey, never leaving Houston. Hey, Texas is the best, boy. I don't care what y'all say, boy. Or come on, Miami, boy. Man, y'all, Jay, boy, listen, man, that thing. I told Deion, I said, time. I said, man, listen. I said, when you come here, man, I said, what do you think it's like? What is San Fran like? He said, man, Mike, man, they crazy. It's over here, but they love their football. I said, whatever San Fran is, multiply by 10. Come on over here, let me show you. Come on over. So he flew in, that man, we had, oh, God. I wish I could tell you all about the times we had.
I can only imagine.
Oh, that's my dude, boy. I love that Joker, boy. That's my dude, man. That is my dude, man. We had some good times, dude. We had some good times. And he took my game to another level because he gave me so much in practice that about me that I didn't know that he was picking up doing games that I, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, man, I appreciate you telling me that little tick signs and the signs of how I'm switching up. Oh, you're getting ready to run a slant route, Michael. Little stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay. Now I can use some of those tendencies to trap the DB. Oh, you picked up. So that's a tendency of mine. All right. So hopefully the Terrell Buckley picked it up, or the Champ Bailey picked it up, or the Darryl Green picked it up. Now I'm going to go in a game and give them jokers this. Oh, I did that on the slant route. I'm going to give them this, and it's going to be that 2-pump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You done picked up my tendencies on a slant route. Okay. I know that because Deion gave me the tendency. So now I go into the next game, and it's Darryl Green, And if Deion, I hope you picked it up too. I'm gonna give you this tendency and see if you jump that slant. Then I'm gonna give you this tendency again, but I'm gonna told Troy, we gonna two-pump this one. It's gonna be a slant and go. And it's gonna be game on the line. So I'm gonna be the hero. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm gonna be the hero here, buddy. And I fed you your knowledge. I fed you the tendency that you picked up. So I can go win the game because I knew you had the tendency because Deion gave it to me. That's the depth of having a Deion Sanders.
Man, it's funny you say that, Mike, because me and J. Joe sitting right here, right?
Right, that's what I'm telling you.
No, listen, it's funny you say that because J. Joe was a free agent. We were both at a wedding. We had a mutual friend. I'm at the wedding the whole weekend recruiting J. Joe to come to Houston. And he ended up coming here. And like what you said, man, like iron sharpens iron. So every day, like he's like a brother to me. Like he ain't my blood, no nothing, but this is my brother. I'll jump on a grenade for him. Every day after practice, I would go and sit in front of their locker and just talk to him about what we did in practice. And he would tell me everything, like, hey, you did this, hey, you showed this, hey, I knew this, I knew that. And those are the things that people don't really realize that goes on in the locker room that helps you as a player and helps you be able to play better on Sunday. And I tell people all the time, like, I don't miss playing the game. I miss being around my brothers. Like, that's the thing you miss about it. And, you know, just the locker room conversations, the bus rides, the plane rides, you know, those things and really getting to learn about guys and spend time around their families and things of that nature. Tell me something, like, have you ever been, I know you competitive as hell, like, I know that. Have you ever been doubted? Has anybody ever doubted you that you wouldn't be the Michael Irvin you are right now?
Well, you always run into people that I don't, you know, I don't want to say some doubting me, but people that didn't see, I would say, the calling that God gave you. You know what I mean? So we all have a calling. I really do believe we all have a calling. And somebody will say, man, I come and say, man, I'm gonna play in the NFL one. Dude, what do you mean? Who do you know played in the NFL? No, nobody. What do you mean? Your brother? No, I know nobody in my family played. What do you mean? But I'm gonna play. You know, man, just make sure you have a backup play. They're not saying it because they're doubting you. They're saying it because they know the journey is great and they don't know anybody that made that journey. So they love you and they want to make sure that they're trying to give you great advice. But the reality is you don't feel my calling. You know, I know what I got in me, and I have to be careful here not to have you make me doubt me. And you're doing what you're doing out of love. You just want to protect you. And I say, okay, I appreciate it, but no, I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna do this. Now when I remember coming to Dallas and everybody said, why would you draft this guy? I was the only guy Tom Landry had ever drafted. Had an earring, a big old rope around my neck, coming from Miami. You know, they basically saying.
I remember that. You had the rope chain off.
Right. Hey, they were like, what you doing drafting? These kind of dudes, right? You know, and I'll never forget Tay Stram, who was the GM in Dallas. He said, and I still have this article. He said, if everybody be patient, I promise you, this kid is going to accelerate our return to the living. You know what I mean? Because they had been losing a lot of games. That I hold on to, you know, because Dallas was supposed to be like a pristine and good place. And here I came into Dallas. I took in some of the same things that went on in Miami coming from the ghetto, going to Miami. Oh, you guys don't want me here. You don't want this kind here, the kind that is the rings and the big jewelry on. Oh, okay. But just I grabbed text quote and said, if you guys just be a little patient, this guy will accelerate our return to the living. I held on to that. So I'm using little things as fuel, because that's what you're asking me. Somebody doubt you, that gives you fuel. I'll show you. But I was picking up fuel from any little place, because when you're trying to get something done, anybody that says anything, I use it as fuel.
I got you. And I wouldn't say, doubt, but obviously NFL career, your football career is your football career. But you've been super successful outside of football after your playing days also. So going into the media space, obviously, you're on the show with Stephen A., who's probably the biggest, personality out there. Talk about just, stepping into that game and having to learn quickly that it's not the same way I got to come in and prepare myself and come in and to be sharp because I'm being in front of the cameras, under a microscope and things like that. And to stay successful still to this day in doing it.
And dude, let me tell you something, Jay, and what's so great about it. And Dre talked about it. Dre, you talked about Jimmy Johnson, man. Dude, let me tell you what he did now. Because remember, we were all coming out of ghettos when Jimmy and them got there, Jimmy and all of them. And what Jimmy said to us, he said, a lot of you guys are coming from places that has families, that has success. He says, what we're going to do every Thursday night, we're going to meet 9, 10 o'clock, right before bed check. Every Thursday night, he said, I'll get some Whoppers and some Big Macs and burgers and everything for us, whatever. We all met, and he made us go through a plan. He said, what are you planning on doing beyond football? That's all we could talk about. Every Thursday night, we met and talked about what did we plan on doing beyond football. Are we working towards that plan right now beyond football? Had he not, and I look around and think about all the guys that were in that room, and I look around now and still see them having success in life. All of it came from those Thursday night meetings. We couldn't talk football. We had to go, and we were going anyway because we passed out them free burgers. You know, you were going anyway because we passed out them free burgers.
Hey, Mike, back then, college, you wasn't getting that. They get NIL now.
Right. You get $20, $25. You can't do it. Ain't like that's what we got. $20, $25 a week. I could keep 10 and send 15 home. I had to eat with 10 and send 15 home. Because I got 15 brothers, 16 brothers and sisters like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was different then. It was different. So let me tell you about the NIL too. A couple things that was NIL. The NIL, you got NIL, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. But on the other end, you get an NIL, and then you give them a transfer portal. Now that becomes an issue. You want to make some money, that's fine. But I give you an NIL transfer portal. Now it becomes an issue because what we lose is the fight. Nobody now stays and says, I'm going to win that position. Right. Like nobody fights. Nobody fights through anything. I ain't got what I want. All right, I'm out of here. That kind of thing. And that, so I do worry about that. I worry about that part of it.
I'll say this, and we was just having this conversation the other day. I can't remember who I was talking with, but the whole thing with the NIL and the transfer portal, you know how we recruited guys to Miami. If you don't want to compete, don't bring your ass here. Like that was our thing. Like if you don't want to compete, just don't bring it. Don't come here. So I think now with this whole transfer portal thing, it kind of like guys don't have to compete no more. Well, I could go over here and start. I could go over there and play right away. Like that eliminates, to me, the competitiveness, that you get day in and day out. Because when I was at Miami, man, you had to compete every single day. And there wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you didn't compete, you was gonna get called out on it. You know how we.
And in life, dude, dog, that it affects you in life. There's not going to be a transfer portal on your job. You know what I mean? You got to climb that ladder the hard way, the work way. Ain't nobody going to just transfer you and give you a higher position without showing you can do this position in a great way first. You see what I mean? So you just can't be hopping around. So that's what I'm saying. It affects us as a country. I really do believe that, because we're building young men that don't know how to stay and fight through don't know how to stay and fight through not getting what they want. Go fight through it. That guy, go beat him out. Go work harder than him. Those things we'll lose.
I'm gonna give you. I had Chris Carter on. I got to give you this question. I always do this when I have a receiver on the show. Give me your top 5 receivers all the time.
Top 5 in the game now?
Your top 5. No, just top 5 receivers all the time.
Oh man, and I go mine from my inspiration. I call it from my inspiration. You know, I think about it, and I'll start. And I know this is. My dad never watched me play. I lost my dad my senior year, right? I played Little League and all that. You know, 16 brothers and sisters, 17 of us. He worked all the time, so he never watched me. Never watched me in high school. My senior year, I lose my dad. Now, all I know is my dad was a huge Cowboy fan. So when we would watch, such a big Drew Pearson fan, called clutch. That's how you make the play, son. That's how you make the, did you see that, son? Did you see that catch? And I remember all of those things. So when I got to Dallas and I ended up having Drew's number, since my dad never saw me play, every time I would make a catch in my head, I would envision my dad celebrating one of Drew's catches. You know.
That's crazy how that comes full circle though, but
right. Trip me out. That, you know, when I sat there, and that's what I thought about. I remember the first time thinking about that. I was like, whoa, okay. That's how that is, you know, and that connected me. My dad, every time I made a play, boom, I can go back as a kid and think about when Drew made a play, how he reacted. I imposed that as his celebration of my catch. You see what I mean? So I got to put Drew in there, because that's what that is. And then now, for me having that number and understand even more, the number 8 stands for new beginning. Drew was 88. He started off as he started off as a walk-on. You know what I mean? As a free agent, walk-on. Didn't get drafted, undrafted, all the way to the Hall of Fame. That's a new beginning. That's a man making a new beginning for himself. So I've always loved Drew Pearson. I loved coming up and still love Jerry Rice. So I got to have him in Jesus and Cleats. I called him Jesus and Cleats.
Yes.
That dude, I had him in my locker in college and in the NFL. I remember the first time I beat him for receiver of the year, dude. I was at the Pro Bowl, my first Pro Bowl, while I was sitting up late. Yeah. We out by the pool. What? Jerry Rice came up on me. He said, "Hey, Irv." I said, "God damn." Jerry Rice just called my name. I said, "Damn." I said, "Don't turn around. Make him call you again." "Hey, Irv." I said, "Oh, what's up, world?" No. Hey, you know what he said to me? His first thing he said to me, which showed me, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. You know, because that's about right for the fight you've been in. He said, "Hey, Irvin, good season. I chased you all year, couldn't catch you." He said, "But I'm already trained. I'm going to get you next year." And ran off. I swear that's all he said. He said, "I'm already training." I'm sitting there thinking, I'm partying right now. I'm chill mode. It's open. So he was already training for next year, you know. That's, I said, yeah, that's about right. I better keep up with, because it helped me with, all right, maybe I better stop and make sure I start me a little light training right after this Pro Bowl, because I'm seeing that he doesn't. And I got to compete with him next year. But
Right.
yeah, that was the first thing. I love Jerry Rice. So I got Jerry. I put Drew in there. Andre Reed. Andre Reed was a bad dude. I'm talking about inside, outside receiver. I'll take an Andre Reed in there, inside, outside. You know who I watched growing up, but he was a tight end. That was Kellen Winslow.
Yeah. You know we had Junior at Miami.
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow Jr.
I wore 80 in high school for Kellen Winslow. Boy, that boy, dude.
He was bad. That was a bad man.
He had that game in Miami where he had caught the passes and they would take him off the field. His whole team dragged him off the field. And then he goes over there, they put an IV in his arm, get him some water, and then defense is out there. And then he goes back out there, takes the IV, catches a pass, and then they drag him off the field. I was like, man, you know how many times players talk about, man, I just want to leave it all on the field. That was really literally him leaving it all on the dude. I was so inspired watching that, man. I was like, dude, I don't want to go anywhere. And I don't even like talking about it now. I'm 58 years old. But I was saying as a young man, God, if you're going to take me out, I want to go like that. Just like Kelly Winslow was doing, I want to leave it on the field. I just want to right there, man. I was just so taken by him, man. Taken by him and everything like that, man. I loved him, man. I loved him. Now, if I had put a fifth pass catcher in there, that I looked at all of my life and loved all of my life, that I thought was a bad man, I tell you what, who's a bad man was Lynn Swann.
Yes.
You talk about the most acrobatic catches you will ever see. They used to have them in Disney World. When you come off the Space Mountain, they had the acrobatic catch he made against Dallas. I remember because I used to go and just keep watching it over and over and over again while everybody was riding the ride. I just kept watching that acrobatic catch, and I ultimately ended up playing Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. And I remember thinking about that. Yeah, life is crazy, man.
Man, Mike, it's funny you bring him up, man. I'm in Canton the first day I get there, and I'm walking out of the hotel, and I'm going to practice my speech, to practice with the teleprompter. And of course, Sap, he's sitting on the patio. Hey man, come see me when you get back. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know I hear. So I'm like, yeah, I'll hit you when I get back. So I had a few things that we had to do that first day we got there, and then they had some little kickoff thing we had to go to, and I end up texting Sap afterwards, and I'm like, hey man, you still on the patio? He like, yeah, I've been here all day. So it's funny you bring up Lynn Swann. When I go on the patio, that's who I'm sitting with, Lynn Swann. And to hear the stories that these guys tell, man, I really couldn't believe. I think that's the moment it really hit me. The gold jacket dinner was amazing. Like, that's when you really, really feel it. But I can honestly say that moment. So it's me, Lynn Swann, Sap, Bruce Smith, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed. Like, we all sitting on the patio.
Badass team right there, boy.
Yes, that's a badass team.
Right.
Listen, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sitting there like, what the hell am I doing here? But that's when it really, really hit me, like sitting on that patio with them guys, man, and like to hear the stories, to hear about Lynn Swann, like how he was even named. His mother didn't even name him. He was named by the nurses in the hospital. He told me this story.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he told me this story while we were sitting out on the patio that night. But man, like, I just want to say thank you, man. Yeah, Yeah. I just want to say thank you, man. I think this might have been the best one we had. But this was truly amazing, man. Like I say, we could go on and on with you, brother, but we know you pressed for time. Just want to say thank you, man. You know I love you, brother.
Dre, I love you too, Dre. I love you too.
So,
and I'll do anything for you, Dre. And I'm gonna tell you again, man. I swear to you, on everything God knows, that was one of the greatest honors of my life, man. To put that jacket. And it was really one of the greatest honors of my life. I can't thank you enough for it. And even seeing you and Jay there, man. Let me tell you, it's so funny how life runs. My best friends now, no joke, Deion Sanders, Darryl Green, Aeneas Williams. You talk to these jokers, I fought these jokers all my life. All my life. I mean, when I see Aeneas at the hall, man, and, you know, I see Pat Aeneas or Darryl Green, I speak with Darryl Green in churches. We go do it all the time. I go to his church, Darryl Green, you know, with the, I think it's so crazy how this happens, man.
Yeah, man.
You compete like a dog with these mugs, and in the end, they end up being your best friend, just like you and Jay said. No, it's just how it all works out, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys too, and whatever you do, man. Just like Deion, don't ever lose that friendship. There's nothing more important than what y'all share, because that's y'all a piece of the locker room that you take everywhere you go. You see what I mean? And there's nothing to strengthen us better than that old locker room.
Yeah. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on, man. I'll be in touch with you.
All right, Jay. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, guys.